Tip number 127 from the book 501 Contractor Tips. I called this employee wage secrets. It is never going to be a good idea to let your employees, the other employees, know how much money the other employees are making, and worse yet, not how much money you're making. Just don't save it. Don't even bother with it. If someone comes up to you and says, hey, how much money are you making off of this job? I don't know yet. The job's not over with. And then if they come up later and say, hey, how much money did you make off of that job? The job's completed. It's none of your business. Simple as that. You don't need to paint a picture. You don't need to hem and haw about it. Well, it's flat out, be honest with them. None of your business. Don't worry about it. Worry about your own. And if they're too persistent or they're starting to bring the other people down, hey, these are problems you're going to have to deal with. But you've got to nip it in the bud. Now, I'm going to tell you a story here. This is something that actually happened to me. I was doing this remodel, and I had 11 people working for me. One day, one person quit, and the reason was they said they had another job. The second day, after that guy quit, I had two other people quit, and it was like a father and a son, so they were a team, and they weren't real appreciative, I think, that the other guy quit. And they were thinking that, wait a minute, this is a sinking ship. I could see this coming. They really didn't give me a good reason. They made up some ridiculous excuse while they were quitting. And so within 2 days, I'd lost 3 workers. Well, the next day, I know this is going to sound kind of weird because it's going from 1 to 2. Well, on the third day, I had 3 people quit. And these were 3 laborers, and they were making minimum wage. I think it was $7 an hour at the time. And they came up to me and they said, we're not working for $7 an hour anymore because the other company has people, their minimum wage is $9 an hour. And we're going to go work for them. And I said, well, knock yourself out. Well, all of this came about, I found out later on, everything here that happened because a couple of people asked somebody else how much money they were making an hour. And they were doing a job they felt that required that. So the first guy who quit found out that someone else was making $25 an hour and they were making $22 an hour and thought that they should be making what the other person was. He quit. The 2 other people had already found out from that guy who quit that how much money the other guy was making, how much money they were. Well, the 3 people that quit, the first 3 people were making the same amount of money as carpenters. And to be honest with you, I wasn't really worried that I lost them because they weren't worth the money anyway. It's just, okay, back into that ocean, But it all came about because other people were talking to other people. And I didn't really know it at the time, but the superintendent on the job came up to me and he said, Greg, are these your 3 workers working for the other company? And I said, yeah, they quit because they're paying. He said, no, he said, we're not going to do this. He already understood the nightmare that could come from this, having employees go from other, saying, hey, they're paying me this. If you pay me this, I'll come work for you. He knew, so he put an end to it right there. And he told those three young guys, he said, you either work for Greg or get off the job. You're not coming back here, period. And I thought that was a good move, but I didn't understand it all the time. And again, this is why I'm sharing this information with you, is so that you can learn something from it so you don't have to go through the same mistakes I had. And again, if I could save you from 2 or 3 of these mistakes, then hey, this book will be worth it, or these videos you're watching. Because again, this is information I've learned along the way and even after the fact, because I read it somewhere, gathered it from another source that could have really helped me out early on in my career. So especially if you're just starting out, this book right here could be a lifesaver, and again, if not, watch the videos. They're free, no charge for this. I'm going to try and go through each one of the tips, and that way they're all going to be available on the internet, so you don't have to pay for anything. So how's that? You can't beat that, except for maybe complaint here and there about wasting your time. Hey, that's the way it is, right? Anyway, pay attention to some of these tips. They might not seem like they're important right now, but if you just keep them in the back of your mind, eventually you're going to run into a situation where you're going to get some value out of these things.